So archaeologists have just unearthed a journal kept by Moses. Yes, the one from the Bible. Not Sam Moses owns a deli in town. Apparently, Moses started keeping this journal the day that God spoke to him for the first time. According to that journal, Moses was herding sheep near Mount Sinai. He looked up the mountain and saw a burning bush that was not being consumed by the fire. So he figured to go up there and check it out. Here we find out Moses is actually hard of hearing. We never knew this before. He got up to the burning bush, and suddenly there was a booming voice that says, "Moses, go forth unto Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let my people go." And Moses said, "What? Moses, tell the Pharaoh to let my people go." Okay, who's doing this? Am I being punked? What's going on around here? No one's saying anything? All right. Well, okay, I'll go along with it. If I do go, what size army are you going to give me? What kind of weapons? Moses, I'm over budget for this fiscal millennium. You're going, that staff you have, that stick, that's it. Oh yeah, right, this is getting really funny by the second. All right, I'll keep going with you. When they ask, who sent me, what should I say? I am that I am. What does that mean? Moses, enough of the questions and go. So Moses went to Egypt, and he did get an audience with the Pharaoh, who, we find out, according to the journal, is also hard of hearing. Everyone's hard of hearing. So the Moses before the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh says, "What do you want?" Now here we find out the Pharaoh is not only hard of hearing, and not very personable, but he has a very high-pitched voice that sounds a little bit like Curly from the Three Stooges. So Moses says, "Let my people go." And the Pharaoh says, "What? Let my people go?" Now Moses, I knew you when you were the prince of Egypt, and you could not have come up with that idea on your own. Who sent you? He is that he is. What does that mean? I don't know. I was hoping you would know. Well, Moses, think about this. If I let all your people go, who's going to do all the jobs that the Egyptians just won't do? So tell he is that he is, no deal. Well, you're pretty sure you realize that God was not happy with that response. So he wrought plagues upon Egypt. Water to blood, locusts, frogs, the usual plagues. But to no avail. The Pharaoh would not change his mind. So God had to play his trump card, so to speak. And he wrought plague, he let go the angel of death onto Egypt, who would then pass over Hebrew homes without harming anybody, but would kill every firstborn Egyptian boy, including the Pharaoh's own son. Now you think the Pharaoh would be pissed at this, and he was. But he had a strange response. So he called Moses back to the palace, and he says, "I've had it. You and your people just get out of here. Leave the country." That was okay with Moses. So he gathered all his minions and started walking out of Egypt toward the promised land. When he came across the Red Sea, there was no way to cross it. He looks up at the heavens and says, "What's this? Now what do we do? I followed your directions." Moses, back at the pass, he was supposed to make a left instead of a right. Jesus Christ, when are you going to invent GPS? Who's Jesus Christ and what's GPS? Never mind. So God then took a deep breath, blew over the Red Sea, and the seas parted, and Moses and everybody were able to get through to the other side, eventually winding up by Mount Sinai, where the whole story began. Moses went up the mountain to give God an update. They got up to the site. This big booming voice came again and said, "Moses, you've done well. I'm now going to give you the 10 Commandments for you and your people to live by." And Moses says, "Wait a minute, that wasn't part of the original deal." Well, it is now, unless you and your people want to go back to Egypt. I can arrange that very easily. No, just a second, hold on there. Well, before you chisel those 10 commandments into the tablets, let me hear a couple of them. Okay, thou shalt not kill. Oh, we can live with that one. That's okay. Thou shalt not steal. That's going to be a little tougher, but we'll manage. Let me get one more. Thou shalt not lie down with animals. Wait a minute, hold on. Don't chisel anything else. Don't you remember before I took this gig, I herded sheep? So don't do that, please. Let's replace that with, thou shalt not commit adultery. That's going to be really tough, but I'll make it work. So Moses came down from the mountain, looked over all his people, and said, I bring you the 10 commandments for us to live by. And all 400,000 former Hebrew slaves looked up at Moses and at the same time said, what? And I say, good night.